It's a week the House of Representatives celebrates Nigeria's democratic journey, while some lawmakers feel let down by the House. Hello, I'm Lanre Lasese. Welcome to the Gavel. Now, the highlight of all that occurred this week in the National Assembly is the rejection of the Southeast Development Bill by lawmakers in the House of Representatives. We will focus on that later in the program. Let's commence with a report on House members celebrating Nigeria's democratic experience despite the challenges confronting the country. The 29th of May is set aside in Nigeria as Democracy Day. The day commemorates the restoration of democracy in Nigeria.
Break protocol.
Coming a day after, and in its first plenary session of the week, lawmakers in the House of Representatives consider a motion to celebrate the country's democracy.
Because of these challenges, we've had a lot of agitations. Of course, a lot of them are genuine, but a lot of them are born out of the frustrations that people have, maybe because of the challenges. But what everybody should know is that Nigeria's unity is what we should all work towards.
While applauding the role of the country's leaders, the lawmakers say Nigeria's democracy has come a long way. Some of them, however, highlight areas the country needs to address.
I would equally want to acknowledge our democracy heroes. The late Chiwobin Awolo in the First Republic, the late Mala Amini Kano, the late Sedan of Sokoto, and the Duke of Africa.
Let us first of all commend the former President Jonathan, who uncharacteristically in African fashion handed over power. Otherwise, we would not be celebrating the democracy which we celebrate today.
Buhari has brought into Nigerian politics sanity. He's brought sanity into Nigerian politics, into Nigerian governance, because the man everybody knows, no matter what you want to say about Buhari, everybody knows that Buhari will not steal your money.
It is imperative that our judiciary is more independent than it has been, that the legislature is indeed stronger, more independent, more committed to the collective will of the critical mass of the Nigerian people as whose pleasure we serve.
A scenario where probably somebody sits in his office and uses the instrument of government to harass or coerce other people because they are in opposition, it's not democracy. It's indirectly what I call dictatorship.
The motion enjoys the support of all members, and members affirm their faith in the country's democratic experience and the country's unity. Now, our next report is from the Senate, where lawmakers passed a bill that is expected to, among other things, strengthen the fight against corruption.
Clause 17.
Federal lawmakers in the upper chamber set aside 2 legislative days to amend and pass the Nigerian Customs Service Management Act 2017. In the new amendment, the Senate has scrapped the governing board of the Nigeria Customs Service, replacing it with the Nigeria Customs Commission. The governing board is headed by the Minister of Finance, who oversees the activities of the Customs Service. The commission would now be headed by a chairman, who shall be appointed by the President, but subject to the confirmation of the Senate.
The realities on ground. Recall that for the past 35 years, the Customs and Excise Management Act has never been amended. This is the first time in so many years that this law is passing through an amendment.
The new regime prescribes the use of pre-shipment and post-shipment inspection, meaning all ships and vessels coming into Nigeria must be thoroughly inspected from country of origin to the port of destination. The customs would, however, be required to outsource the technology required for effective inspection.
If you look at here, we have earmarked 0.5%
for the management and maintenance of Customs Service Commission so that they can have some semi-autonomy for operation.
The bill contained 16 penal clauses, one of which recommends varied punishments from dismissal to imprisonment of customs officers who violate the provisions. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the amendment of the bill would bring the much-needed reforms to the Nigeria Customs Service.
And we hope with this new bill, definitely we'll see improvements in revenues. We'll be able to fight corruption in the area of custom administration.
The upper chamber has passed a bill on mutual assistance in criminal matters between Nigeria and other foreign countries. The bill is expected to facilitate the identification, tracing, freezing and confiscation of proceeds of crime.
That the Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters Bill will bring about a legal framework that will strengthen the fight against terrorism, corruption, economic and financial crimes, money laundering, and other related offenses. That the enactment of this bill is paramount to the government's anti-corruption drive as it seeks to eliminate territorial jurisdictional constraints in the prosecution of cross-border crimes.
The bill is also aimed at effecting the temporary transfer of persons in custody to assist in investigations or appear as witness, facilitate obtaining and preserving of computer data, and providing any other assistance that is not contrary to the law of the requesting state.
Now to our focus for the day: the consideration, debate and vote on the Southeast Development Bill and what followed the decision of the House. Here is how it played out.